Right now, we'd like to introduce the Eastern Panhandle Field Service Representative for the West Virginia Secretary of State's office, no stranger to us, Darrell Shull. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me on this morning.
Thank you for being with us. It's great to have you on. I apologize for all the audio goes dead, and I'm like, am I talking to myself here? You could probably still hear me, and I'm sounding like a moron, but that's what happens.
Still a great show, no matter who listens.
Well, see, exactly, yeah. Hey, Mom. I always know I have one listener, maybe. So folks who are not aware, Secretary of State Mac Warner has created this Field Service Representative initiative, and you will be serving the greater Eastern Panhandle. That means not only Berkeley, Jefferson, and Morgan, but also Pendleton, Grant, Hardy, Mineral, and Hampshire County. That's quite a territory to cover. It's
a good-sized territory. The Secretary has set up 7 field representatives across the state. They all have a good-sized territory. The philosophy behind that, though, is that all of these counties can be a long way away from Charleston, and it's good to have a representative there that can bring the services of the Secretary of State's office to the county rather than the county residents having to go to the Secretary of State's office.
Or do it over the phone or do it online. Having a face-to-face interaction, at least from my standpoint, is always superior to making a phone call or trying to, please hold and go through that rigmarole. Talk about some of the things you'll be able to do that right now folks might have to travel to Charleston for or go through those sorts of processes.
Most people know that the Secretary of State's office is in charge of statewide elections and registering businesses. But there are so many other things that office does. I had the privilege last week of spending a week working with each department, learning their jobs. They register charities. They administer the state's confidential address program. They keep a record of everything that happens from executive action, the history of the state. So all of those things that happen in Charleston, the field representatives are conduits for the citizens, the county clerks, to assist them. Find the right expert in Charleston if an expert in Charleston is needed, or assist directly.
And you'll, of course, be a walking Rolodex, if anyone knows what Rolodexes are anymore, of information about that, know where to go. And if not, you'll know where to find the answer.
That's exactly right. The Secretary's office has a tremendous help desk. Every department expert is connected to that help desk. They're available through the website and online chat. They're available by picking up a telephone and calling, and they're available through the field representatives.
The average, I'll just say Berkeley County citizen, since that's where we're sitting here in the Hoppy Kercheval building, would not necessarily need to call you to say, hey, where do I register to vote? They would probably still be able to call the county clerk's office and take care of it that way. But businesses would certainly have a reason to call you directly, because what they have to do to get rolling or when they have questions, it could go sort of right to the Secretary of State's office. There's not really a conduit here already in county government that can do what the state government requires of them.
You're exactly right. County clerks are the people responsible for voter registration. They do a great job, and the Secretary's job is to assist them in any way he can.
Right. You're not jumping in line there. You're not intervening.
Right. The Secretary provides statewide resources to help them in that, the statewide voter registration system, tools and databases to help them keep the voter rolls up to date and clean. Businesses, however, do register with the Secretary of State's office. They can do that online. They can do it in person at the Secretary of State's office, and they'll be able to do it in person at an upcoming field office here in Martinsburg.
Oh, where's that? Do we have a location yet?
We're scouting buildings right now. The Secretary made it very clear he wanted to stay within budget. Budget is important to him. He wanted to find a location that best served the citizens of the Eastern Panhandle, which points to Martinsburg. That just makes sense. So we have about 4 or 5 buildings we're looking at right now. We'll make a decision soon.
Is he giving just about the same budget to all 7 field reps, or is it based on, for example, cost of living here in the Eastern Panhandle is higher than parts of southern West Virginia?
While all field representatives are given the same resources to do their job, there's only going to be 2 field offices, the one here in Martinsburg for the Eastern Panhandle and one in Clarksburg. There's currently a field office in Fairmont. That's going to be moving over to Clarksburg.
And then anyone else is going to be within a day's drive easily of Kanawha County. So they could go right to Charleston if they had an issue?
They can go right to Charleston, but we also have field representatives covering all of the counties of the state.
Okay. Do they have a timeline yet for when this field office is going to be open?
Well, it's the field office is virtually open right now. This is day 6 for me as field representative in the Eastern Panhandle. We're looking to open it as soon as we can, but within budget constraints.
Have you already started to hear from businesses and individuals, even in this early 6-day period?
Yes, and businesses have lots of needs when it comes to information or activities with the Secretary of State's office. If ownership changes or a new principal for the business comes on board, they need to file an amendment, and we've had requests on how they do that and getting the forms. We've had a request for folks that are looking to start a new business, and we've gotten feedback from business owners on how we can help create a one-stop shop to help them in the process. Not only do they deal with the Secretary of State's office, they deal with Workforce West Virginia, the state tax office, and we're working to streamline that process with the help of all of those agencies.
Field Service Representative from the Office of West Virginia Secretary of State Mac Warner, Darrell Shull, in with us this morning. We are talking about the work that he's already started to do to help businesses, to work with the county clerks in the greater Eastern Panhandle region. Really, I think this one-stop shop idea is fantastic for businesses in terms of saving them a lot of headache, a lot of time, and letting them do what they really want to do, which is run a business. They often we hear about the red tape that's attached to being a business owner. This could help clear some of that up and alleviate some headaches.
It makes it easier for the businesses. It makes business startup speedier and cleaner, and it's good for West Virginia, especially here in the Panhandle. As you know, Berkeley County is the fastest growing county in the state. The Eastern Panhandle is becoming the economic engine of West Virginia. We need to do everything we can to assist businesses here and throughout the state in the process.
I think you're going to be a busy guy here in the Panhandle for sure when it comes to the business side of it. Do you anticipate, we had, and when I talked to Mr. Warner's predecessor, Natalie Tennant, over the years, there was always, it seemed like, some kind of a special election. So they were running around with that a lot. I don't believe there is any election actually happening this year on a state level. But do you anticipate having a lot of work with county clerks as maybe county races come up and we hit the election cycle again?
Well, and we do have municipal elections taking place coming up in the
May
next several weeks.
Yeah.
So there are elections happening every year in West Virginia, either at the municipal, county, or state level, or special elections. And we shouldn't let the fact that we have to conduct elections get in the way of all the other important work that the Secretary of State's office does. But I will be working very closely with the county clerks. I've met with many of them already. The Secretary strongly believes that his role is to be supportive of those clerks, to give them every resource he can to help them do their jobs better, but not to get in the way of them doing their jobs.
Part of what he had campaigned on was communicating more with the county clerks. Is that going to be a key part of your position?
Absolutely. He's given us very clear directives and responsibilities, and he's holding us very accountable to making certain that we have ongoing, regular communications with those county clerks, not just to bring information from Charleston to the counties, but to take feedback from the counties back to Charleston. So the Secretary of State knows what's working well in his assistance to the counties and what needs to be improved. He wants to make continual improvements to the processes to make the county clerks' jobs more efficient, more timely, and more cost-effective.
And I think, again, having a voice and a face from the Secretary of State's office here, it's similar to what Patrick Morrissey set up, or I guess it was his predecessor as well, but he's continued and expanded upon here in Martinsburg. And the Eastern Panhandle is so geographically disconnected from Charleston, and our interests are so different than Charleston, our demographics, everything else. It really makes sense to have someone here, boots on the ground.
It does. Like I say, not just to bring services to the citizens of the Eastern Panhandle, but also to make sure that state government is responsible to the needs of the entire state.
And he's doing this, as you say, there's a budget, but he has also realigned some positions and made sure that he's not spending a lot of extra money to make these field representative positions work for the office. He's not asking for more.
He is a very frugal manager of taxpayer resources when it comes to doing the job, but he's doing the job. Like I say, I was in Charleston last week, had an opportunity to work with so many of the departments, and he has put together a fantastic team of professionals down there that are so responsive to the citizens.
Best way to get in touch with you if anyone needs you?
Cell phone number is 304-553-5449.